Hi everyone, you're welcome to at WASSCE Biology. For today we are going to talk about how we can answer examination questions. Before we move on, click that subscribe button at WASSCE Biology so that we can see how we can support you in clearing biology in any examination connected with your school certificate, whether WAEC or NECO or UTME or even the GCSE examinations. Now, be informed that we will be starting this content by looking at how we can assist to answer some questions of WAEC in examinations. And some of these examinations, we have actually picked up WAEC examination of WASSCE May, June 2017. And that is our series we are going to take to start this content. The essence of this conversation is to see how we can help you to know how and why and the reasons and explanations why answers are correct and why answers are wrong. Now, on the board, as you can see, we have two questions that I'm going to pick. And what we are going to do is that we're going to start by looking at some of the objective questions. For this year, May, June 2017 objective examination, be informed that I just extracted only number 1 and number 2 question. Please be informed that it doesn't have to do with the quantity of question. It has to do with how you understand and interpret questions so that you can use this format to address other questions that come up. Because the answers and options that are present in objective can be used to understand additional content that you can use to answer more questions connected with the content that comes up in examination. So once again, hit that subscribe button at WASSCE Biology so that we can flow together. Now let's go straight to this question that you can see here. And the question is very direct. It says, which of the following group of animals do not possess a nervous system? Remember, which of the following group of animals do not possess a nervous system? And we have 4 options there. The direct answer to this question, of course, is porifera. All right? But the point is that there is no way you can give an answer to this question if you don't understand the basic content of classification of living things. In my video that I gave about how to classify living things, you can know that we gave a memory tip called PCP NAMEC. PCP NAMEC as a guidance to understanding how to classify members of kingdom Animalia. The first P there is porifera, the second C is coelenterata, this other P is Platyhelminthes, nematoda for N, Annelida for A, mollusca for M, A for arthropoda, E for echinodermata, and C for chordata. Now, if you look at this question that they gave this option of porifera, cnidaria, Platyhelminthes, nematoda, there is just no way you can know what they're talking about if you don't understand what classification we are dealing with here. Now, let's look at the porifera. What are their characteristics? What are their examples? Porifera, your simplest example are sponges. They live in aquatic environment. They have what is called a sac-like body design with only one opening. They have 2 body layers. Those are the characteristics of porifera. And by their nature, they live in colonies. Okay? They are non-motile. They live in colonies and they are found in aquatic habitat. Those are the things we call porifera. They do not have a nervous system because this question says, which of the following organisms do not possess a nervous system? So porifera are the most primitive sets of animals in the kingdom Animalia. When you come to letter C there, that letter C there means coelenterata. Cnidaria are also coelenterata. Your examples are hydra, jellyfish, sea anemone, corals. They fall under the coelenterata. They are the ones they call cnidarian. They have 2 body layers. They have what is called stinging cells that are called nematocysts that actually poison and kill their prey. Now, these nematocysts, they are attached to tentacles like in hydra. They are attached to their tentacles. And these nematocysts that are attached to the tentacle, they sting the prey and then use this particular prey. Once it is killed, the tentacles contain these nematocysts that now bring the prey to the mouth of the hydra, and the organism is digested inside the body cell by extracellular digestion. So what we are telling you here is that For those stinging cells to be active, they are sensitive. That means they have a nervous system. That shows that cnidarian have nervous system. And when you look at this nematocyst, there are three types. You have what is called the penetrant, the glutinant, and the volvant. They are all connected with cnidarian, the Hydra family. Now, most of them you see they are cnidarian, they are hermaphrodites. They have testes and ovaries, so they are hermaphrodites. Polypheras too, they are also hermaphrodites. Take note of that. Then platyhelminthes, they are the flatworms. That is where you find things like the tapeworm that are parasitic, the planaria, and also the liver fluke. By their nature, they have what is called a triploblastic body layer made of 3 layers, while the other two, cnidarian and polyphera, have 2 body layers. So the 3 body layers of your platyhelminthes are ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. All right? They too are parasitic and they have a very effective nervous system. For nematoda, they are the roundworms. Most of them are highly parasitic. They include roundworms like Ascaris lumbricoides, that is very parasitic for people that eat vegetables and fruit without washing them. So they belong to that group called nematoda. They are the roundworm, Ascaris. You also have filaria worm. Filaria worms are transmitted by some vectors like the black fly that transmits a filaria worm that is called Onchocerca volvulus. Then you have another one, the Aedes mosquito, that transmits a filaria worm called Wuchereria bancrofti that causes elephantiasis. So do not underestimate the value of knowing that these particular options can be used as additional question in other questions that can come up in examination. But for the benefit of understanding this context of how we answer the question, which of the following group of animals do not possess nervous system, our answer is definitely Polyphera. Second question, let's go to that. Remember, as I said, for you to understand the details of this, hit that subscribe button and you see my additional video that I gave at WASSCE Biology so that you can know how to classify this organism and know their specific examples. Now, the second question here in WASSCE May June 2017 objective is the structural similarities in Paramecium and Euglena are in the, of course, if you don't know this diagram of Paramecium and Euglena, there's just no way you can answer this question at all. You know that basically when you look at Paramecium, what are those structural similarities between 2 of them that are evident? First, if you look at Paramecium, that is the one that I said looks like slipper shape that I drew one time. As a slipper shape, the blunt end is this area that is anterior, while the area that is pointed is actually the posterior. Now, Paramecium by nature has 2 nuclei, one bigger nuclei and one smaller nuclei. The bigger nucleus is called meganucleus, while the smaller nucleus is called micronucleus. Let's look at our option. Structural similarities, shape of locomotory organs, blunt anterior and posterior end. Of course, this organism has blunt anterior and posterior end, which of course is a characteristic of only Paramecium. Then another characteristic again, presence of micro and meganucleus. This is only common in Paramecium. And then presence of anterior and posterior contractile vacuole. Paramecium only is the one that have those anterior and posterior contractile vacuole. You have a vacuole at anterior and a vacuole at posterior end for Paramecium. Now, both of them, when you bring something like Euglena that look like this with a flagellum, and then you look at Paramecium that has structures like that called what? Cilium. You will agree with me that these structures that Paramecium uses for movement is called cilium, right? While this one that is used for movement is called flagellum, right? Now, these structures that are called cilium and flagellum are used by Paramecium, used by Euglena for movement, while the cilium is used by Paramecium for movement. Is that okay? Do not underestimate it. Now, look at the question. The structural similarities in Paramecium and Euglena are definitely the answer is A. They are in the shape of locomotory organ. Both of them have locomotory organs that are cilia, that are flagellum. They are all whip-like. Flagellum is slender, cilium is slender. They are all used for movement. Definitely B, C, and D cannot be the answer because they are only found in Paramecium. This is how to understand how to answer question. Now, WAEC as an examination, you see, They have this objective question which is called the multiple choice. There are 60 of them, and we are just taking only 2. But from what I've said today, you can see that within 2, a lot of points are out. Take note of this so that you can understand. Watch out for the next question on number 3 on how we explain the reason and why that is the answer. Continue to subscribe at Apex Biology so that we can finish answering the remaining questions of the May-June 2007 biology objective. Enjoy learning at Apex. Remember to click that subscribe button at Apex Biology. Bye.